This is a
Squad. What's up? What's up?
That ball is belted. Welcome in Carlos Gomez. Hello. Goodbye. Ay, 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 ay.
Prescott down the middle. Butler makes a move.
Oh man, yeah. We rocking now for real. Yeah. BS3 Sports. Okay. Sports news, get it first when you're getting off of work. Even when you're at work, acting like you're working hard when you're hardly working. I'm a maverick like Dirk, getting Franklin's like Kirk. Hold up, boy. X Squad, you don't know them boys? Being talking facts on every topic. Overall, we just talking noise, just being boys. Covering Texas sports in them tall heels. That with the fake pass over to Elliott. Better guard your grills like a car for real. Yeah, Cowboys gonna bring a bowl back, Lord, will it? Yeah, Mavericks gonna bring a ring back with Mark in it. We live sports, we talk sports, we dream sports, we eat sports. The teacher about to teach the course. Welcome to BS3 Sports. Ay, 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 ay. Gross. Oh, man, yeah.
Welcome to the weekend wrap-up, episode 126. Give your team an NFL draft grade. Also talking NBA playoffs. Didn't do a show yesterday because I was moving. But I am all moved in, so ready to get back into it. Excited to be back on the air right here on X Squad Radio. A couple of things. This is the last day for the X Squad Radio contest where you can win $100. New listeners, so that's the Reach One contest. So we're trying to continue to get as many new listeners as possible, continue to grow the network. So go to xsquadaffiliates.com/contest. If you are a new listener or if you know of someone that is a new listener, we want to continue to grow it. So it's going on today until 11 o'clock. So you still have time. Listeners out there, you still have time. People out there, you still have time. It is not over with yet. And we will be announcing the winner tomorrow. So make sure to visit that website, go sign up, get involved, join in on the show chat room. It gets very exciting, very interactive. It is 100% worth your time to tune in to each and every one of these shows, and whatever one that speaks to you. You may have one certain show that you like more than the other. But we want to continue to grow the network. I want to give a shout out to Melvin in the building, executive producer of the X Squad, continuing to support a lot of avenues of X Squad. So, recapping the weekend in sports. Also, like I said, as you're coming in the chat room, give me a grade for your NFL draft, your team's NFL draft. Also, we'll have the Benny Awards at the end of the show to the top performers of the weekend. We got so much to get into, so let's go ahead and dive right into it. First off, I got to say this. Before we go any further, rest in peace to the great John Singleton. You know him. Most people should know him. I'm sure that a lot of people do know him for some of the work that he's done. But he is a director, a film director, a writer, a producer, Boys in the Hood, Baby Boy, Poetic Justice, been involved in a lot of different stories and movies. He passed away at 51. It was very interesting because the story broke, I believe it was yesterday morning. And I seen multiple different reports, so I started to not know which one was true or which one was correct. But he has passed on. Definitely something that caught me by surprise, but he was in a coma. So rest in peace to John Singleton. a lot of great films, like I mentioned, that he's been involved in and that he has impacted, I would say, a lot of our lives, because we've seen at some point a film or a movie or something by him. So rest in peace, John Singleton. Let's get right into the NFL draft, which was last weekend. We had, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. The NFL draft drew record numbers. It was in Nashville this year. It was, seeing those people out there in the streets made me want to drive to Nashville to be a part of this NFL draft. It just looked exciting. They had, interviewing people on the rooftops. I mean, the bars and everything was popping. So the record numbers is that they've had 600,000 attended over the 3 days. This is the reports that they have. The TV coverage averaged 6.1 million viewers. That's beyond huge. Those type of numbers that they were able to put up, and that's what's being reported. But I think this just shows really that you could do the draft almost anywhere. You could really almost do the draft anywhere, and I think this gives the NFL also more possibilities to do it in different cities and states, because as you can see, just the amount of people that were at it and the amount of people that watched it shows, and I think also speaks volumes for the NFL draft. So we know the number one pick was Kyler Murray. I'm not going to talk too much about the first day. We'll talk about the second and third day. So starting off, the first pick in the fourth round was Hakeem Butler. And also with the Cardinals adding Andy Isabella, new weapon for Kyler Murray. He's possibly played a slot. He's an Ohio State wide receiver. But I wanted to also point out some recognizable names. Shout out to JB Jennings in the building. As you're coming in the chat room, give me your grade for your team. A, B, C, D. Dare I say F? Hopefully that's not what you would say, but you never know how people feel. Bryce Love. I want to give a shout out to Bryce Love. Bryce Love was drafted in the fourth round, and he was drafted by the Redskins. The Redskins get Bryce Love. They also, Dwayne Haskins, not a Redskins fan at all. Will never, ever, ever be a Redskins fan. But like, they drafted Bryce Love, which I'm a fan of him. I'm a fan of Haskins. And Haskins coming out and saying the league better beware, which that makes, him being drafted by that team, even though I'm not a fan of that team, even though I really can't stand that team. Him being drafted by that team, I will root for him. I will not root for the Redskins, but I will root for him because I think he deserves that and all the work that he's put in. So I'm very much looking forward to what the Redskins are going to do this year under Dwayne Haskins. Very much looking forward to that. Another pickup, Jarrett Stidham of the was drafted by the Patriots. He is a former Auburn quarterback. I thought that was an interesting pickup right there, which this is what the Patriots do. They're not going to probably be the flashiest, but they're going to get some guys that are going to play eventually. And they may even dominate the game when they do play. Shout out to Jennifer Pettit in the building. Also, my pops in the building. Thank you for tuning in. As you guys are coming in the chat room, give me your grade for your team's NFL draft. How you feel about it? Are you happy with it? Are you upset about it? Another person I want to point out, Mr. Irrelevant, was taken by the Cardinals. UCLA tight end Caleb Wilson. He was a 13th tight end in Todd McShay's draft prospects. So Shout out to him. And really, as long as you get drafted, that's the most important part. And I think, and this was said by Steve Smith, and he said, when your name gets called and you get that opportunity, it's all really up to you to be able to produce, to be able to show what you have. And when you get that opportunity, when you get that shot, it's truly all in your hands and what you're able to do, and that you're able to impress, obviously, your coaches, obviously the staff, everyone in an organization. So if you get picked in the 7th round, or if you don't get picked at all, and you end up being a Tony Romo and you end up starting all those years for the Cowboys, you get your opportunity to get your shot. Shout out to Courtney Harden. Thank you for tuning in to the weekend wrap-up show. Give me a grade for your team as you're coming in the chat room. Also, I want to thank the background listeners as well. I want to thank people that are listening to this show via the podcast. So after the show is over with, I appreciate you guys out there as well. Give me your grade. You can put that in the chat room. So let's also let me touch on Morehouse defensive back Mandel Ray was invited to the Oakland Raiders rookie minicamp announced yesterday. So I have to announce that. Being that I'm a Morehouse man, graduated from Morehouse, I want to put that out there. Shout out to Mandel Ray getting his opportunity. And like I just said, it doesn't matter when or where you get drafted. As long as you are able to show what you have and impress, you will get your shot. You will get your shine. So looking forward to what he's going to do with the Raiders. Maybe it's not with the Raiders. Maybe it's with a completely different team. But I'm excited that he's got an opportunity. So let's dive into this Cowboys draft class. And shout out to Kevin, Let's Talk Sports in the building. Thank you for tuning in. Let's dive into these Cowboys picks. First off, you got Tristan Hill. Tristan Hill, defensive tackle, UCF. Now, the big knock on him is that his work ethic, but he was dominant when he was under Nick Frost. Probably saying his first name wrong, but the previous coach at UCF. He totaled 36 total tackles, 10.5 tackles for loss, 3 sacks in 12 appearances during his junior season, and he only started 1 game. So to be able to put up those numbers, he's very talented. It's going to take some work with him, but I think with Marinelli, if you know anything about Rod Marinelli, he will give everyone a shot, and all he mainly wants is effort. If he can see you putting in the effort, if he can see you putting in the work, then it is that I think that's major for him. And as long as you're able to put that in and show that you're ready to work, which it sounds like he is ready to work, they did a handshake type agreement that he will put in the effort and put in the work, and it's all the ball is in his court. But the numbers that he did put up, even without starting, I'm happy with this pick. You know, we could have went any other way. We could have went tight end. We could have went offensive line, whatever it would have been. But I can say that I am happy with this as well. You got to think that the Cowboys don't have any major holes, anything that's so glaring that, oh my God, you got to go out there and get this guy immediately because you don't have someone. We don't really have that. We need depth. We need added people, but we don't necessarily have this huge glaring hole where we need to worry about who's going to play where. And if we don't get this one guy, it's going to cost us a season. So that brings me to the 3rd round pick, Connor McGovern of Penn State, reliable, not very spectacular, sound skills, great balance.